You are now listening to the Happily Ever Banter podcast. Let's go!
You ready? All right. We're here. Some special guest.
Episode what? 22? That's right.
It's Dee Dee. If you know Dee Dee, her favorite number is 22. And Adam said they waited till 22nd episode just for his baby.
Yeah. My baby gets what my baby wants. I always say that.
Hate that saying.
He does say it a lot.
All the time.
Not because it annoys you. I think he just likes saying it. And it pisses you off.
Well, no, because it's true. Because his baby is him.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That is true.
That's always been the joke. Stop saying that.
It's usually something that benefits me.
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Oh, okay. Sorry. First time. Yeah. First timer.
Long time listener, first time podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we finally got Dee Dee and Buzz in the house.
Whoop, whoop.
It's exciting.
You guys have been busy, so it's
I know. We've gone back and forth so many times. No. Yep. No. No.
Out of town. No. Sorry.
I know. I get it. It's tough. That's the toughest part about any guest, because we'll have people and they'll cancel last minute because I get it. Because got kids or something. It's always.
It's just summertime too, so they have a lot of stuff going on.
Yep. Yeah. So thank y'all for coming in.
Yeah. Excited finally here.
Which
we even had it. I mean, it's 9:30 at night.
I know.
Who cares? It's summer.
Kids are here.
Kids are downstairs.
I'm actually surprised they're quiet.
Yeah, they really are listening. So it's possible to do this inside a house.
Yeah, no kidding. I did want to. First thing I want to talk about.
Uh-oh.
Because
I get nervous when Dale wants to ask questions.
No, this is not.
Oh, it's not going to be too personal.
No, this is really personal.
Watch out, she fires back though.
No. I wanted to just because
she's going to ask you something you don't want to answer. Probably.
I'll answer anything. If you listen to last week's episode, we got a little raunchy in here. We couldn't even make a real.
Just last episode.
I mean, most of them. Magnus is over there sweating. He's like, no. So when we did our first episode talking about our love story thing. I remember you.
Oh, I had comments.
You called me the next day. You're like, "Oh, I had so many things to say." So I wanted to kind of talk about. We could talk about the old times of how we kind of all came about. But I was kind of curious what you had to say on that, because I know that was a lot of that. I mean, involved you. I met you before. I met.
But a lot of people right now on this don't know the backstory.
A
lot of people don't know the backstory.
That's what we're going to talk about all that.
Oh, okay.
That's the whole point of him saying that.
Okay.
Yeah. You got to keep up, Kiki.
I'm a little nervous.
I should have went back and re-listened, because there was things that I remember you saying that I'm just like, that is not true.
That was 22 years ago too.
I know. Look at that, 22. But I just thought it was funny, man, and because you got me on the spot, because I wish I would have wrote it down, because I remember going, that's not what I remember.
She was fact checking.
That's not what I remember. But it was mostly things that Crystal was saying. But then it was weird, because I guess I never really heard or ever really knew that the love story, I guess, between y'all, really, because it was just always what it was.
What do you mean?
Like. Because, like, when y'all, like, I was already friends with Dale, and you're my sister, so it's like I'd known you, and then I knew him for a while before y'all started, like, hanging out and stuff, and then it was just weird to kind of hear you talk, like, I don't know, it just was weird, because I was just like, that was what was happening, but it wasn't in the, like, back then, it was like it was a secret almost, and you didn't want to say something. Like, you never made it clear to anybody that you liked Dale when that was happening. And because Dale was already dating or had a girlfriend or
he
whatever.
Took somebody on a date to try to make me jealous, and it worked.
Oh, let's play them hoes.
It was only at one time.
But it was just funny just to kind of hear, like, what you were saying. Like, remind me again, like, when, like, I remember the first date that y'all talked about, and you were saying, because I remember that conversation, like, I told Dale, like, he better watch his mouth or whatever, because we're going to dinner and Nick and Ash are going to be there.
Oh no, that's when we were already dating for a little while. That was the first.
But that was the first time, like, y'all.
She
like,
introduced me to Nick and Ashley.
Yeah,
she's like, you got to watch it. These, like, they're big time churchgoers. I know how you talk and you act.
I was at Peppers.
Yeah, at Peppers. Yeah.
I have my earrings in, backwards hat.
I might have to.
What's like trash, baby?
6 T-shirts.
6
Yeah.
T-shirts.
6 white tank tops.
Yes.
Dude, that was bulking season.
Yeah.
Dude, me and Adam. I mean, Adam was small too then, but I was even.
Oh yeah, y'all.
I was
both,
like
y'all
skinny
both
fat.
looked like y'all were like. I don't know how to properly and nicely say like y'all were just like anorexic looking.
I was for sure.
I mean, so were we. We were like.
I looked worse because I was so much taller.
Taller,
Yeah.
yeah.
So I looked really thin.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was like I said, we were 19. I mean, I met you when I was my senior year, your junior year. And then, like I said, that's kind of how that all came about. And then fast forward a year or two when I met Crystal one time. And then
Y'all didn't really start hanging out until after graduation.
Yes. Yeah,
because
so
then you moved out into
That
the
house.
rent house.
Yeah.
And then, yeah. Okay.
yeah, because that's when I found out that she was your sister.
Yeah. How did you find out she was my sister?
Well, the first time I met her at Contraband,
At that dance
because
hall.
I saw her and I asked Chris Landry, and he's like, "Oh, that's one of the Quibido sisters." And I was like, "Oh," and I already knew you at the time, so that's how I
So
kind of
you-
knew that, but I didn't.
Yeah. So that's when Crystal met Nick for the first time.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
Because for the whole, what?
when I met you, I
6, 7, 8, 9 months, he told us his name was Nick. And so that's what we called him.
Yeah, and I forgot.
It was
I think-
Nick and Jake.
I think Holly was around us too, and so whenever
Yeah.
we confronted, like, this is Nick and everybody, and all.
no, you weren't even in the picture yet. She came to us. She was going to some parties.
I thought I was there in that party.
She
I
came to
swear I
us.
was.
She came with us to a party. I didn't meet you then because she was with some friends. They came at us at a party at Westlake, and they said Nick to
Trisha.
me, and everybody was like, "Who the
We're
hell's
like,
Nick?" And like,
yeah,
they were-
and then all those girls were like, "Oh, here come these Barb girls going to come to this Westlake party," and they're
Sorry,
calling
guys,
him.
I don't have much input in this because I wasn't.
this was before. This was pre Adam.
This is BA before Adam.
Before Adam.
This was before Adam. Yeah,
before Adam.
this was before Adam.
Yeah, and I was just like, oh, at that point I was like, okay, go figure. He's been telling us his name's Nick this whole time, and it wasn't. But everybody else was laughing, especially all the girls.
I don't know why you've said that.
Because you're Dale.
Yeah, no, I'm
Yeah,
Nick.
exactly.
Because you're Nick.
With your mullet, with your wig.
Yeah, I have no idea. I guess because I'm never serious, but
Yeah, I should have re-listened to the first episode before this if I knew you were going to ask that.
no, I thought about that because I remember you calling me that next day. You're like,
Yeah.
oh my god, it was so funny to really because I had a bunch of names I mentioned like Tressa and Jennifer and all
Yeah.
those friends that
Yeah.
we all hung out.
Yeah, that was kind of like the core group that hung around y'all. That's funny.
Yep. So then we dated for a while. Then you met Adam at Target.
Target.
I remember I was like, dude, this dude drives a freaking Fast and Furious car.
And a polka shell necklace.
You can't
Polka.
knock me for that.
Polka.
Because at that time, that
No.
was like the height of
No, dude.
popularity for that.
I was jealous. I had a Mazda 66,
Everybody
bro.
was into that
I was
back
just
then.
jealous. I had a 4-cylinder 66. It was.
And it's kind of crazy
I had
though
like
back
one of the
then.
coolest
That you had to
cars in
like
town.
tap, give it a little rub. Adam did have a cool car, but I didn't know that was Adam's car when I met him until I found out for about 8 or 9 months working like side by side and thought he was a jerk and didn't want to talk to me. And then I was like, oh, and that's the car he has.
Oh, the car was a red flag.
It should have been.
It should have been.
Should have been.
Dude had nitrous in his car.
That car was trouble.
Dude. Yeah.
I'm sure it caused you to get in trouble.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Let's not go there.
We don't want to go down that
Talk
road right now.
offline. We know these stories. We're not going to bring them up here.
Yeah. That was in my rebellious period, for sure.
Yeah, that's whenever I was like shacking up with Crystal and Danielle at the
I've never done that.
Oh, wow.
at the
Shacking up.
apartment.
Yeah, shacking up with Danielle and Crystal.
Yeah, that terminology
Yeah.
and that sentence together does not go.
What he
We're
means
gonna
is
have
that
to delete that.
Yeah, we got an apartment with our cousin,
had-
so me
when
and
I-
Danielle shared a room.
When I graduated high school, Crystal and Ashley were a year ahead of me, so they were already going to Magnus, which was the university in Lake Charles. So they were already going to school. I graduated high school, and I'm like, I want out on my own. I've been, babysitting, working, paying bills,
Yeah.
I'm going to do this. If I'm going to do it, I'm going to do it for myself, and whatever. That's a whole nother story. But so I got an apartment with Crystal and then one of our cousins, Holly.
Yes.
And we lived in an apartment together.
Yes.
Two-bedroom apartment.
A 2-bedroom apartment, and we had this.
No, our first one was Willow Bend, where it was 3 bedrooms. Remember, and we lit in.
You did have your own bedroom. That was the other one. That's when we were just dating.
That's when we were just dating. Remember, we lived. It was off across from S.J. Welsh.
Yeah,
Remember?
that's where I lived first.
And so it was 3 bedrooms. You don't remember that? And half of our electricity got cut off, and we didn't know why.
Oh,
because
it
they
was
didn't
2
tell.
apartments
They didn't tell us it was 2
combined.
apartments.
It was a duplex made
Yeah,
in
they
one,
didn't
yeah.
tell us
It was made in one. Yeah,
Remember, and
that's
Yo had to
right.
go up and chew them all because they said we owed all this.
I
light
forgot
bill,
about
but
that.
They never told us there was 2 apartments and one was a big old thing. But
Yeah, we were
anyways.
still early dating then,
Yeah.
but then y'all moved to
But
the
then
other
we
one.
moved to the
Yeah.
other one. Yeah.
And that's
And
when
so-
and
And that's when we
whenever
had to share a bedroom.
that's when y'all were dating then.
Yeah,
Or started
because
dating.
we had a big room.
Yes.
And we were sisters and grew up sharing a room, and whatever, you're in college, we didn't think it was weird
Yeah.
to share a room.
And then if you had a boy, if you had your boyfriend over, you usually weren't there, or you were there and you slept on the couch or you slept in your bed.
Or he slept on the futon cushion on the floor.
Yeah. Or we made a pallet.
A pallet.
Adam's favorite.
Adam loves pallets.
Yeah, so I would sleep on the floor between y'all's 2 twin beds.
Like, you're just brother. It's brother Dale.
I know. I found that old picture of me in y'all's room with your Lance Bass
Which we
calendar.
could have fit in a twin bed because we were both tiny.
We
you
still
know?
had our twin bed,
Yeah,
which
we
was the
did.
twin bed from the bed we had that we grew up in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this is classy.
But that's what. But like I said, in that apartment
was-
is when y'all started dating. I remember that.
Yeah. Because y'all
Yeah.
both worked at Target.
Yeah. Yep.
But we were young and didn't make shit, so we had. I mean, that's why you had to split 3 ways in a freaking
Oh, and it was so cheap
apartment.
split in 3 ways.
You had
Remember
to
how
think
cheap
about.
it
I
was?
know.
Like everything.
But going to school, working, and then paying bills and all that, and then so we were in that apartment. I don't know. We stayed in there for over.
yeah, we spent there a good bit.
And I don't know if we did like 2 years in that apartment.
Oh, so.
Do you remember? I can't remember if that's that apartment or not. I don't know. I haven't lived in that many apartments, but I don't know, because after that I moved out by myself.
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
with
it was
Jessica.
Jessica.
And
Yeah,
that was really more like of our time together.
Yeah.
Was we met when I was in that apartment, then I moved out with a friend.
I remember Adam spent some time around that toilet one time, that one night.
I remember we got
apartment.
a dog,
Y'all did.
and it like chewed through the wall. We like put it in the bathroom, and it like tried to eat through the wall to get out.
That was Zoe.
I don't remember
No.
that dog.
Was that Zoe?
That was
I think
Zoe.
it
The
was
white
Zoe.
dog? Zoe?
Yeah.
It was.
It was
It
Zoe?
was. It was Zoe.
And that's when I met Caroline. So Katie and Caroline, like best friend Katie and Caroline, like that's where we met them, because she lived next door. But it was Zoe, because I have pictures of Zoe on the yard right there in our front. It's funny.
Dang, I forgot that Zoe was the first dog.
No, Maggie. Hello.
Okay.
Maggie. We had Maggie, but
Yes.
Zoe we got when we were in that apartment.
But y'all. But that's
No, we
when-
got Zoe when we were
because,
married.
because y'all moved back to
I'm
the.
so
Y'all moved
confused.
back to the Hodges house for a while. That's when you got Maggie.
No, we got Maggie when we were dating.
I know that, but we were living. We all.
So we keep going back and forth different times.
yeah, but you
because-
lived at Hodges too while y'all were dating.
Well,
Yeah.
we did buy Zoe like early
bought
on
Zoe.
because Nick and Ashley had Harley,
And they were litter sisters.
and they were litter mates, and then like
so they were sister cousins.
it was like weeks later that like Zoe was still there, and like I've always wanted a white boxer.
A cow.
just like you've always wanted a blue Frenchie.
Yeah,
Good choice.
and there's one more that is
A hairless cat.
Yeah,
Not happening.
We're gonna get a hairless cat.
No, we're not.
That's for this year.
no.
I've been saving up for it. It's a surprise.
Season 11 of Outdaughtered.
That'd be a good one.
That's disgusting.
You know, but like I said, I guess
It's
thinking.
not disgusting. It's hypoallergenic,
Yes,
and they don't.
Everything
They don't
would be-
necessarily act like real cats.
but you got to oil them. That's just
You
me.
have to
don't have
oil.
to oil
Yes, yeah, you do.
You don't.
You got to put lotion on your skin.
Because they'll probably get
We live in the
psoriasis.
South.
Psoriasis.
We live in the South. You don't necessarily have to
Psoriasis.
oil cats
Psoriasis
down
of the
here.
skin?
It's like super humid and there's moisture in the air.
And I have super dry skin, and it's still dry in the moisture.
Danielle's very ashy.
That's a you problem.
And so is the cat.
But I think the more we talk about it, it is a blur where all that ended up.
Yeah,
do you mean?
I don't even remember.
Because y'all moved around, and I know me and you lived.
Yeah, we did move back into
This is one thing I remember.
'Cause
We all kind of shared the Hodges house.
Yeah, we did.
I feel like we needed to get this story straight before we started this podcast.
It's all good. Dude, it's just so long ago.
I hope y'all are all following along to the story
I don't
that
think we
is.
even know where we are on this story.
No, we don't. But
It's
I know
fun.
you lived there at one time. Y'all both lived there when we were dating.
Yes.
Because that's whenever she would lock her closet with the padlock in the bedroom.
Well, she did that ever since we were in high school.
Yeah, I did. Because don't wear my clothes if I haven't worn them yet.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you would do the same thing to Ashley and then ruin it.
That was one time.
She couldn't fit Danielle's Jinkos.
I wasn't wearing her Jinkos, Avril Lavigne stuff. That's why I never was in her closet.
Yeah.
But it's crazy to think back. It's been that freaking long.
I remember, this is one thing I remember about y'all when y'all were at the Hodges house, is that it was the middle bedroom, so it was the big room. And I remember it was right whenever American Idol was coming out, and y'all two were like fighting over who won the American Idol
On PlayStation
game, which it's not really picking up your voice.
Yeah,
it's
it
just
is.
No, I was Simon loved me on there. I kicked Crystal's
I'll
ass.
never forget that.
Yeah, because we competed a lot.
Yeah.
We did. You'd be gone at work, and that'll be practicing.
Dude, I would.
Yeah, Crystal would be practicing.
I would show up work. I could show up. I hear her sing. I walk in there. You bitch! Like we practicing. Like trying to get the judges on our
See,
side.
the judges would rate you after you sang.
This is a PlayStation game.
I
It's a
don't even know if it's
PlayStation
still
American
around.
Idol
It
game.
wouldn't even rank like how you sing. It's like as long as you
She
hit
did
that
the
octave.
octaves.
I'll never forget that. Like, wow, this is a cute couple.
Dude, that was so long ago.
So
Okay.
long ago. That was before y'all were married too.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
Yeah, Jesus Christ, man, that's a long time ago. It's hard to really think back all the chronological. Like, I know
Yeah,
we
we
probably
can't
said
even
it
get this
all.
story straight.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah, because most of our timeline is probably categorized by
BA.
your mom's boyfriends. Like
Yeah.
what era that was.
Yeah,
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 because
we
that's
do
the
talk
Pappy,
about
the
that.
Pappy era.
yeah, because that's why we lived
Pete
in the
Uncle
house
era.
together. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What?
Oh yeah.
What?
Tinder.
So
Oh.
yeah, she dated that one guy.
Oh yeah.
And we went and rode horses, and me and Adam chased his cows around. He was pissed. He's like,
And
"Those
I
aren't
was,
herding. Those
and
aren't
I was
herding
afraid
horses."
to ride the horse. And remember, and I got
herding
and I
these
got on with them. Remember, because I was scared of horses.
It's like
Y'all
a
would
herding
just
horse
take
to
off.
me.
Dude.
This horse does what it wants.
Heck no.
Yeah, I remember that. Golly.
Remember that one fat horse he had would just make a beeline to
To
the
fence.
barn.
Yeah.
It just wanted to eat, not throw you over the fence because if it knew we were even remotely headed back towards the house, he would just take off.
I do
'Cause
not
he wanted
remember.
to just go eat.
I remember
at the
that.
barn.
It was a wild
wow.
day. Because that's when we met Ron, which came Ron Hanks.
Who's Ron?
It was his
Saying
friend.
Full names.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But he became later on. He became good friends with my dad. It was just weird
Yeah.
because I met him
Because
then.
you met him on the
Yeah.
farm in
Yeah.
Kinder,
Yeah, that was one of
ranching cows, herding cows.
We didn't know what we were doing.
Yeah,
y'all
nobody
didn't. Y'all just got on that horse and y'all took off. I was like,
Yeah,
wow.
y'all like, we don't want to go trail. We want to go ride. Like,
Hey,
We do cowboy shit.
I know. It's what you do.
in your K-Swiss.
Yeah. They're like Jabos on.
You just act like you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was. So how long? So
You can't let the horse feel your fear.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you just gotta
Like-
manhandle it.
Get on it. So we've been together over. It was 22 years in April. So y'all been what? This is 20 years for y'all total. 20, 21,
Yeah.
20 years.
18
It should be 20 years. Yeah. But,
We'll be 18 married next month. So
Yeah.
21.
and we'll be 17 married this year. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a long time. Like I said, that's what I tell people stories about the six of us, how long we've all been
Yeah. It's crazy. huh?
together, and then our kids growing up together, which
Yeah.
is cool.
That is cool.
Yeah, and still see people together, you know.
It's not common,
Right.
for sure.
I mean, not for yeah. I mean, it's not today's world. So yeah, that's kind of like it's crazy to think back. It's just so long ago. Like I talked about that. Think about met you. like if I never met you, like it's just crazy how things happen in your life.
How would you have met
wouldn't
Crystal?
Yeah, exactly. It's
Like
crazy.
how much better off I may have been.
You wouldn't have been better off. You would have been with that short girl. Ugh.
That short girl.
I ain't saying her name on here.
Oh, say her name. We're saying everybody's names.
We're out and everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So, well, it got you.
I did. But like you said, though, if
I'm
you
trying to think who the short girl
if
is.
you wouldn't
I'll
have
tell you
met-
after this.
If you wouldn't have met, yeah, exactly. It's so weird how the world works out. You know.
Yep. And then y'all met in Target.
We met at Target, and
History from there.
he stole my Oreos.
History Oreos.
No, we used to have breaks together, and yeah, it was typical Target romance
Dude,
in the food court.
The food court.
red shirt romance.
Yeah. No, I had black shirt. I was Kodak.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, she
Oh, I
was. 'Cause
forgot.
she was photo.
I worked the photo lab, and Adam worked like he was red shirt.
Did you ever see some crazy pictures in there?
No.
No?
No, because you would send them off.
Only
No, I
mine.
developed.
Oh, you did develop. Oh, okay.
Adam kept processing pictures every week.
They're all car shows, car shows.
My dog.
Your dog. He was like, "Let me go. I'm off today. Let me go get some pictures. Just develop. Hey, dogs."
Yeah, let me hurry up and finish this roll.
Yeah, so y'all hit 18 this year. Adam, Nick, and Ashley hit 19, and we hit 17.
Yeah,
we
you're
were all
staggered.
back to back to back.
Yeah.
Just like the kids. It's like every year,
I know.
except for the quints. We skipped one, and then we made up for it.
There you go.
For everybody. That's what's crazy. Like how
And then we doubled the amount of kids.
Mowbray's had girl, we had girl, you had girl. We're like,
Yeah.
okay, then we had boy. We're like, all right.
And then I know we're like, oh, Danielle's gonna have a boy. Well, she did mess that up. She had.
I mean, I didn't do it on purpose.
But it was funny. I tell people too, like people ask about you and like the show and stuff. I'm like, well, Danielle always wanted a big family.
Yeah.
And Adam always wanted one kid.
One kid.
Just
He
spoiled
wanted
the hell out of
one
it.
kid.
And look what you got. Six.
Yeah. God's got a funny way.
Now his baby gets what his baby wants.
That's it. Yeah, so that was crazy. Like it was nuts how close we've all been over the years, and like people ask. I mean, we really are that close. Like
Yeah, because we were
It's-
all friends and stuff.
It's gotten different over the years because we all get busier.
Yeah.
I told people we don't see as
Well, what's cool is that, because we're all from Louisiana, but now we're all here in League City, and so like just the dynamic of like keeping relationship tight to want to be in the same city and want to be around. Like we talk about like, I mean, I would just love to move to Nashville. I love Nashville, Franklin, whatever. But I'm like, but then everybody else has to move with us.
Yeah, we're
because,
going.
Like it's not.
Yeah, oh man, I would love to move there.
I'm like, we
But
can't, like, I don't know how. I think like if we ever was a day that like we left League City, like not saying we are, but I've honestly never been away from like family.
yeah.
Yeah, we're to where you
Right
have
when we
nobody.
got married and we moved here, Ashley and Nick were here, but they were in the city. But it
yeah.
was still like if I needed to see somebody I knew, I could, or I was going back and forth to Lake Charles, which was 2.5 hours, But
Yeah.
To be where it's like his side of the family, it is a drive away, or like your other sister Clarissa, like you have to fly and see them or drive half a day to go see them. So
Yeah.
like to have that relationship with my sisters would be so weird because that's not how it's always been.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I mean, you were closer to your sisters too, but obviously a boy and two sisters versus three sisters,
yeah.
they're going to probably be closer than, that dynamic. But
Well, it's all the way y'all grew up too. Y'all grew up super tight,
yeah,
being together, doing girls' thing together.
yeah.
So
And we
We-
had no choice either.
And we get messages about that all the time, just about like just people that see the show and stuff like that, follow the show and see like how close we all are and like just how, we do everything together and stuff like that. And they're like, man, like I wish we had that where we just had like family around all the time and stuff.
Well, one thing, like I thought it was normal.
like kind of counter-cultural. It's like so different. Just people aren't used to it. And
Yeah.
I mean, I feel like we do.
Because I thought it was normal that this is like people are just with their family.
Yeah, because remember whenever we all started hanging out and we were always with their family and everything, y'all didn't understand like why are we always
like
together?
we were always with our cousins,
Yeah.
we were with our grandparents, like and our aunts and uncles. Like we were just always with people in our family, and so I think like as we got older and we all have our own families, like the dynamic is like I want the kids to grow up together. I want them to have each other and be like sisters and brothers with each other's too. And, I feel the same way about that with Adam's sisters and the kids. Like I want them to have relationships, and they all love each other too. And so to say that is uncommon is weird to me because that's just what we grew up.
But
like.
me and I don't know about Adam, but my family, we weren't like a big close family. And so when I first went to y'all's like Christmas and stuff like it was like it was fun
50, 60
because
people there.
We're hanging out, we're drinking, like playing games. And I was like, dude, I didn't have that. So I instantly fell in love with y'all's family and became close. They like me more than Crystal anyway.
Yeah.
And so, but I got close to all your cousins. Like I would hang out with them, like play cars and just different stuff. So it was just something that we didn't do. I don't know how y'all. I mean, I know you got.
Yeah, our family was close, but it was just like minus the alcohol.
Yeah. Well, that's why I liked it.
Yeah, I mean, because like even when there was holidays or birthday parties or someone had a baby or whatever, like we would still go visit and still go to those events and stuff. And so it was a different type of like party or environment, like of what was happening, but it was still family's family and family was together. So I just assumed, he's growing up with that. And so my eyes was, I have this family culture and I'm going into this family culture. So that's normal, But yeah, I know Nick's side. I know your side. Like, and it wasn't like this, but it's still, I don't know. I don't know.
Well, the same way, like, I guess from being us all
this
close.
is what it should be this way. This is what it should be to me, is what it should be.
But being here with y'all, like, this feels more like home. Like, it doesn't feel like home when I go back home.
I see. Yeah.
Like, this feels like home.
Yeah.
Like, this area, I guess because we're all together. And we're all close.
Yeah.
So that makes the biggest difference, I think, is...
Yeah, and I think over time, like, man, it gets harder and harder to... see each other on the regular basis, like every week having meals together when we used to live down the street from y'all, or even just because all the kids and all the after school activities and guess what? They're all separate grades. And as close as they are, they're in very different age grouped sports and activities and stuff, because Blayke and Kinsey right now are the exact same age, but they're 2 grade levels difference because Kinsey's gonna turn 14 in 2 months, and so they're all so 6 to 9 months in age, which it would have been so nice if some of them were in the same grade so that sports could have lined up to where they could have been on the same team or the same schedule or whatnot. But now we just all go different ways and different days and so that's what makes it hard. But thankfully there's still the times that we all try our best to really get together and be like, okay, when's family meal? Like, when are we getting together? Like, it's been a while, Well,
we haven't had a date night with us 6 in a while either. That we were doing, but like I said, it's tough. He's traveling more.
Yeah.
And like I said, we have sports every night.
I know.
It seems like
Non-stop.
and it's always something.
Right. It's hard.
But the good thing about it is how close they are. Like every time we get back together, it's like, because it seems like longer, but they still see each other quite a bit.
They see each other at school, but then it's just, I mean, there ain't a day that goes by that Crystal doesn't send you 5,000 text messages.
I know, and freaking respond back to me. It's like, am I talking to the damn wall?
Because your text messages could be sent in 1 and you send them in like 20.
I know, but still respond to me. It drives me nuts.
Well, some of them aren't questions; they're just statements.
Okay, well, if they're statements,
like I can't believe. She'll send some article like you're always, yeah, literally.
It could be just different articles and stuff. I just want acknowledgement.
Got it. I'll thumbs up it.
Just thumbs up it. You move on about your day.
Yeah.
But sometimes I don't see it till like hours later or whatever, and then I'm like, what are they talking about? And then I'll have to like scroll up and I'm like, I don't know what she's trying to say. So then I don't respond because I'm like, I don't know what Crystal is trying to say.
I know. I remember, like, it was just crazy for us. Like, we all got married. Like y'all got married first before us, and then we had the kids before y'all. You had your first kid, and then like Blayke was the first kid born in Texas.
Yeah.
So I remember coming here for that, and like said, it was just that's you know, Crystal used to cry every time we would leave.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Terrible.
But that's when we worked together.
Yeah.
And I did everything that way. It just never made sense for me to move here, which I hate it because it's just like couldn't.
Every time, y'all. Every time, even when it was just Lily. It was just Lily, and you're pregnant. When you were pregnant with Mackenzie, oh my! Like the emotions of you were like,
because I couldn't say bye
wrong with her.
I couldn't say bye. I just had to just go out the door and get in the car.
I remember we were like in that parking lot where like Academy or whatever, and there used to be a restaurant, some restaurant in there. I don't know what it is anymore in Lake Charles, but we went, ate lunch, went out there, and Crystal gets out, and I'm like. She just got out and like is going straight to a car. She's not even saying bye to anybody, and we're like, bye.
Did we go all use a family or something?
Yes, it was all of us, and it was us six and Lily.
Were they going back home?
Lily, and you were pregnant, yes, and you just dissed everybody and walked to the car. It's like, what's wrong? Like, bye. And she's like, I can't do it. I can't. She's gonna not know who I am. She's not gonna remember me.
I cried. I cried all the time.
All the time. She'd leave a pacifier in Texas, and she would.
Dude, Adam, I'd call him, dude, we left a pacifier there. Like, you need a FedEx.
I'm like, Ashley,
Crystal's
please find it. This is her favorite one, even though she has 10 at the home, but I need that one.
Oh, gosh, that was ridiculous.
Yeah,
ridiculous.
I'm still like that when they leave stuff because I'm like, you need to get it back.
Like, Crystal is like obsessive about like the weirdest possessions.
Yeah.
I know.
Y'all need to have an episode. Do you still have your Mackenzie's first book?
Yes, it's in the garage.
Okay, well, you need to have an episode about how you have Mackenzie's first Band-Aid still in her book.
Her first stitches.
Her first stitches.
What's the stitches in there?
I think I got rid of that. I think when I got rid of that, but I do have the Band-Aid thing.
So
on
gross.
The tub.
Do you have the first diaper?
And I have
Yeah.
Dale's surgical suits for Mackenzie and Bronson. You know when he had to suit up to go because for a C-section he had to wear.
Oh, the blue.
My funniest memory is when
I
y'all
still have it.
when y'all had Blayke that day. We're all in the the lobby area, and I get a text from Adam, and he sends me a picture of the placenta in a bowl.
My dad
And I
was
showed
so mad.
and I showed Mr. Phillip. He's like, "I'm gonna kill that boy." He was so mad.
You shared my placenta?
Dude, I still got it here. But no, I remember showing your dad, and your dad was like,
Well, it's because like we weren't coming out for a while because
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all
I
didn't
think Danielle
come out for
had,
a while.
lost a lot of blood, and like they were just taking their time, like getting everything squared away with Danielle, and so like it was just like the family sitting out in the waiting room, no updates, and
Yeah,
then
we
I'll send
waited
a
for a
photo
while.
of a placenta. Everybody's like,
And
"Dude,
this is Adam.
what an idiot."
he was pissed. I remember that. I still laugh about that. I just laugh about your dad being like,
Oh, I could see him.
Boy.
"Yeah, that boy." But yeah, that was crazy. Like I said, but like, I'll tell people even then we came to Houston a lot, and then
We went back and forth to Lake Charles with Blayke all the time.
Yeah, we all because like she would come stay at night with us sometimes, and then like whenever Lily and Charlie, they would all come stay in our house when we lived in Moss Bluff before.
Bluff, yeah.
And then fast forward to when you had the quints. I mean, even when you were on bed rest for that month, we were coming here, shoot every weekend, damn near. I mean, for a while.
Yeah, like all family, it was like all hands on deck.
Yeah,
through
Thursday.
that time.
Yeah.
I mean, even before though, I'm saying we were. Yeah,
anybody could, like everybody was here, and yeah, it was.
I didn't know I was at the hospital.
Huge blow.
Walking around, trying to find something to do.
That was the craziest time for sure. I mean, before and after the quints were born, just the amount of just like time that we had spent in the hospital, and then just like once the quints actually started coming home, it was just crazy.
Yeah.
I remember the phone call when y'all because like y'all were waiting to see if y'all were having a kid because
Yeah.
you found out so much earlier the way how y'all were doing it, and then when y'all called and said we're pregnant and it's quads, we were like, oh my god! Like I remember that was the wildest thing ever, and I couldn't imagine what went through y'all's head.
Did y'all think it was a joke, just like you saw the placenta for Blayke the first time?
Nobody believed me.
No,
because
well, in his
we
family,
were on a
and-
group text,
I don't
No, that
remember.
was your family group text.
and no one
believed Adam.
Like,
They're like,
oh,
okay, Adam.
Yeah,
I don't remember.
Adam-
Because they're like,
thrives on sarcasm
yeah.
and can't take anything seriously. So everybody's just saying, "I'm gonna wait until we hear from Danielle."
And
Yeah.
then it's a couple weeks later, it splits. One egg splits, and it's 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, how soon was that when it split?
Well, it went from let's see, blood work. First appointment was blood work, and it said you were pregnant.
Yeah.
And then so what? We came back like a week and a half later or whatever to do an ultrasound, and they didn't see a baby there, but they were like, okay, well, let's do some more blood work. And then that blood work came back like super high, elevated levels of everything. And so like we were calling like friends that had twins and stuff like that. Hey, what were your levels at this week or whatever? Because like they're like off the charts.
And usually it's multiples.
And
or
And I didn't know any of that stuff
But then
when I had Blayke.
the
I
doctors didn't
know.
see anything, and so we're like, oh shoot, like we're gonna have to make a tough decision because it could be like ectopic and like stuck in the tubes or whatever,
Yeah.
and like that's dire. And so the doctor's like, well, come back, in another week and a half or whatever, and then we saw 1. So it went from blood work to none to 1, and then in that same appointment, whenever he was like panning around just like looking, well, let me check everything else out, and then he saw like 3 dark spots, and he's like, this could be something, or maybe
Listen,
he did know, maybe he did know what it was, and he was like, I'm not gonna break it to him right now. And
No. I have seen a lot of ultrasounds.
he's like, this
up
is some
until that
dark
point.
spots. I think it's just fluid, but like let's look at this
Yeah.
like in a couple more weeks. And so
No, then we went back like 10 days later.
yeah, like
And-
all these are like a week and a half apart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anywhere it's from like 10 to 14 days. Like every appointment from then on was that often.
Yeah, and then
That deductible was
we
met
came
real
back.
quick.
Yeah, so we came back a week and a half later, and immediately he saw 3, and then was panning over, and he was and that's
Checking
when-
my ovaries and like looking at everything,
went,
measuring
whoop.
things. And then that was
he saw the fourth.
one.
Whoop is not something you want to hear when they're doing ultrasounds.
especially whenever we're having 3 already.
Yeah.
And so it went from 3 to 4, and then that's whenever the serious conversation started. Where this is
Well, that
extremely-
same appointment we
extremely
saw
high
all
risk.
4. We saw and heard heartbeats
Yeah.
in that appointment. So
And that was the appointment where I was like kind of texting family group texts like in real time, and like nobody believed me.
yeah,
I don't remember.
What year was that?
2014.
Okay.
2014.
Yeah.
That's so long.
So it was probably like October or September.
Okay.
And then he was like, look, they're all, fighting and competing in there. And it's like, this is extremely high risk. Danielle's tiny. Don't expect there to be 4 next appointment. And then we show up. We had to bring in Blayke to that appointment because it was like obviously we got bumped to the front of the list on that. Now we're having quadruplets.
Yeah.
Now we're a priority. And so we had to go it was like a 7:30 a.m. appointment or something like that. So we had to bring Blayke because daycare wasn't open yet or something like that. And so getting situated with Blayke in the corner, Danielle's up on the deal.
Blayke is 3 years
and
old.
by
at
that
this
time,
point.
like we had viewed and read so many ultrasounds. Me and Danielle could have read it. And so like Danielle's getting squared away on the table. I'm squaring Blayke away with an iPad so she isn't paying attention to what's going on
Do you remember which
in the
iPad
room.
it was? I'm just kidding.
It was like an iPad.
I mean, she wouldn't
10 or
understand that
something.
anyways at 3 years old.
Well, she knew mom was having babies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, she knew.
But it was the type of ultrasound, so it wasn't just like on the stomach. It was like a
It's like the vaginal
Oh,
ultrasound,
yeah.
so they look
Okay.
they look
okay,
different
yeah.
than when they're on top.
Yeah, that's true.
what's he shoving in mama.
Oh god.
Oh, okay.
Well, that's how they got to do
That's
it.
what they did. It was a wand, not a.
Oh,
little
yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, he's like, we're gonna need the big one for her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd
So-
you say?
So, obviously
joke.
we're getting
Tell you
Blayke.
after.
I'm getting Blayke squared away, I reach down, grab my coffee as the machine's coming on, and that's whenever we see it split from 4 to 5. Ava split into Olivia. So,
no, in all honesty, there's really no, like, we don't know if and when it did split, but it probably already was split when we saw it, and it was so small we couldn't see it, and their heartbeats were exactly the same every single ultrasound.
So
every single ultrasound.
It's hard to detect.
They were always hard to detect when you were trying to do every measurement and everything. It was so hard to tell who was who because everything was exactly the same.
Yeah.
And they're identical. And so we were talking about this the other day because the girls don't understand that quintuplets is not normal. Like multiple.
Yeah, it's their normal life.
That's their normal, right? And so somebody had some friend or somebody, I don't even remember who, but asked me, and they were like, well, speaking of placenta, since that's what this episode's going to be called, episode 22, placenta.
Danielle's placenta.
How many did she have?
we'll have to find that photo.
But I was like, so because they were quints, but I had 4 placentas because Ava and Olivia shared one inside the one.
So I didn't know you have separate placentas. So you had 4 placentas. So that one you sent was, which one was
that? Was Blayke.
That was Blayke's.
Oh, that was Blake's. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So
I guess your little placentas were small then if it's quints.
No, I mean your placenta's usually the same size as like baby, basically the baby. It's like when you had your child, like your placenta came out.
The placenta grows with the
I
baby.
never saw mine.
And ours were born
saw
at
it.
28 weeks.
Why didn't you take a picture of mine?
I was out of minutes.
I don't even know what that looks like.
Looks like liver,
It's like
like a raw
Big
liver.
old blob.
Okay.
Yeah.
Magnus
Well, I
is
don't remember.
Googling them right now.
Yeah.
I got a couple of Chelsea's.
We freeze dried it.
Yeah, so I mean,
Yeah, because some people eat them.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. If I would have known
Yeah,
about that,
put it
I
in
wouldn't
pills.
not eat it. But
Does it
I would have
taste
probably
like-
put them in pills and
Does
like
it taste like meat?
I would have done the pill and
yeah.
like have the like vitamins and
there's a
all
lot.
that
Yeah, there's a lot of
nutrition
good
from them.
from that. Yeah,
I mean, maybe my body wouldn't feel like it is today if I would have done that.
If you ate
it's
your
like
kids'
stem
placenta.
cells.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Could inject it
Yeah,
into
like
your
they say
meat.
that poop thing you watched on documentary. That was wild.
Oh, let's not get into this.
Yeah.
People eat poop.
No.
Remember that?
They would take people like poop in these capsules from like people with healthy guts, and they would
That
like.
didn't have health. Oh, they said it. They didn't realize how.
It was on Netflix.
So someone who had a healthy gut, their poop went into a pill,
In
and
the
someone with a sick gut
with like
ate
like
this.
a suppository. I think it was like a.
And they said everything like.
I don't know how they-
You probably need to try it for all your pain, and all that stuff.
Dude, my poop,
I'm
my gut's
telling you.
good. I got you.
Well, it's crazy though. Yeah, all their pain, all their problems that they had, side of like just healed them just by doing that. Because these people were there that did this on the. I mean, they're.
It's on a Netflix
overseas,
documentary. You'll
but
see it.
It's crazy. It's wild.
Never seen that.
Yeah.
I'm watching too many thriller murder
Right.
mysteries.
Yeah.
I don't see the poop pill
Yeah.
documentary.
So okay, yeah. So that, I remember that. So yeah, when y'all told everybody, okay, well, hey, there's actually 5 now. Mm-hmm. And I couldn't imagine what was. I mean, it was crazy for us.
I know. What did y'all think? Like, what was?
I don't remember my
it
reaction.
was so like. It's so foreign
we were-
to me to like put myself back.
We were still living back home, and that news got around.
Yeah.
Obviously,
I mean, I'm sure I was like, wow.
because y'all were from there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I remember like it was just crazy because people were like, I mean, I don't remember who, but I remember friends calling us, man, I've seen your sister Danielle's having quintuplets, and that was like the craziest thing.
I know, it's weird
It's
to
crazy to
even
think
think.
that it's such a wild thing. It seems so normal to us
I know.
now. Like it doesn't even seem like something that's rare.
Yeah. And then it went
Because
crazy
it's
viral.
our norm. Yeah.
And that was like before, like Instagram and like everything. And so like, we couldn't keep up with all those people that
Yeah.
were just like reaching out and like, how are they doing? Just like all the Facebook messages and text messages and phone calls and everything. You just couldn't keep up with everybody from
I mean,
back
just
home.
from
People
my
that you
side of the
hadn't
family
heard
to
of
your
in
side of the
years,
family,
like,
you're
are now,
talking
like, how'd you get my
70
number?
people.
Yeah.
And they're reaching out, trying to see how Danielle was doing, how the babies were doing, and that's whenever we were just like, look. And we created a website, created a blog. We're like, okay, we'll just put once a week. We'll put all the information out, and like it's all in one spot. And then within just a few months, it had like 400 million views.
Jesus.
It just went super viral.
I still tell people to this day, like I'll have customers or somebody that knows me, and they'll ask questions. I'm like, dude, just go to their blog. I was like, because you can see all. It's just so much.
I should know this. I'm your sister, but I don't know which one you did. IUD or IFV?
IUD.
That's like a
that's birth control.
I don't know if you did the IVF
IUI
or IUI.
IUI.
Yeah. Okay.
So IVF.
We did not do IVF.
No.
Yeah, I know IUI is. I know that. That's where they inseminated his shit in your body,
Yeah.
Not a shit.
and you had to ovulate.
How did this come full circle?
You had to ovulate a certain time for him.
So
to take
his poop
But
made
that's so
Danielle
weird
had tummy aches.
That's so weird how they had to.
And
it's so
we were
weird how
trying
they
to
had to
fix
do
it.
that, because why not you doing it, then release it? It's so weird if you think.
I mean,
about
it still
that.
did. It's just
Yeah.
we had struggles getting pregnant,
Yeah.
and even with Blayke, I mean,
I
it
know.
was my
Yeah.
fifth after about 2 years.
Yeah, I know.
In and 5 IUIs, we had Blayke, and it was on the verge of on the next trial was IVF, and so we were trying to do everything to say hey, how do we do this? We knew nothing about infertility. No one to talk about it. No one said anything about it. And
But we were just very lucky at the time that your OB
yeah, so in
was a fertility specialist also.
right.
And so, naturally, whenever you were telling him, oh, we're trying, nothing's happening, he immediately kind of went into that regiment.
Yeah, not immediately. I mean, it was he said, you have to try on your own and follow this track, blah, 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 all that stuff, 9 to 12 months before he would even
Golly.
try to do anything in a set, try stuff with medication or whatnot and stuff. And so it was a good year into it before you even discover really that, okay, this isn't happening.
So it took 2 years. It took 2 years before Blayke.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
God, I don't remember. I mean, it's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, fortunate for you guys, there's a lot of people that do that, and even other things that don't have a kid at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
and that's what I was saying. To have quintuplets, the stigma is, oh, you did IUI, of course you have multiples. It's not true. Multiples actually runs in our family too.
Yeah.
So the stakes of me having multiples has always been higher.
Yeah.
But yes, I did do IUI, but I also did the exact same thing to have Blayke, and it took me 5 times to do this. Nothing different. There was the regimen, and actually it was less fertility, less invasive with the quints, and it's just I don't know. This is where I say God's overall is in control of life and creation, no matter as scientific as you want to break it down. In my heart and in my head, I believe that it still takes timing and God's timing to perform and let the sperm fertilize the egg. And that is a super, super high, you have to be pinpoint.
Yeah.
Super amount of time for that to happen.
Yeah.
I tell people that too. I was like, dude, she's always wanted a big family. I said, but that's not for anybody. If we had quintuplets, this would have been terrible. You'd figure it out.
I mean, it's terrible right now.
But I'm saying, but you guys were he's the most laid back.
We would have. We would have figured it out.
We really should not have kids right now.
Exactly.
No, just think. I told Dale if we would have tried for a third one.
But y'all were prepared for it. I feel like how laid back y'all were, because it would.
I was laid back.
Shit.
Are you kidding me? Mackenzie and Bronson were the best babies ever. They slept from 6 weeks old. I was chilled during my pregnancy. I slept. I relaxed. So
because you had it normal. Per se,
it's because God knows what you can handle.
I tell people, I said, I said that was placed on them because of how they are.
I think, I do believe, back then, it was always a question, why us, why me, why is this happening? Why am I basically having this scenario where it's now a life or death scenario? And that's what it was. And even someone wanting to have a big family or whatnot, you never would ever think that this is a possibility, or this would actually happen to you, or that never ever crossed our mind with, here we are struggling to have kids, and now we're pregnant with quintuplets. Oh, really? That's what that is? That's what's happening?
But you do look at just like mine and your like whole life as, and like we look back to,
you see how God
past.
prepped us and molded us into who we were, to
and just like
understanding how
all the
we
things
handle
that we
kids.
did, like, you know, with other kids, and, you know, all the babysitting and stuff that you would do, and like I would go there and help you babysit. We'd babysit like all these kids together and stuff like that, and that's what was like kind of formed the attraction between both of us, was, man, like how like I loved her because she was so good with kids, and these kids were so drawn to her, and it was like vice versa. And she would see that in me, and like even people that like I grew up going to church with and stuff like that. And like I had a mentor that I went to church with, and I remember he telling me, I mean, it was back whenever I was probably in middle school. He's like, Adam, he's like, I don't know. He's like, I have this vision. I don't know, like God pressed this on my heart. He's like, but you're going to do something in life where you're going to have children around you, a lot of children. And it was crazy. And he's like, I see how, you know, kids are drawn to you, how you are, how your demeanor is with children and stuff like that. And he's like, whatever it is, he's like, your life is it's going to involve a lot of children. And, you know, and fast forward a couple decades, and then you remember these conversations, and, you know, we remember like what our initial attraction was with each other, and we're like, man, like God laid the foundation for all of this. And, you know, it was like we were designed, we were made for this.
Yeah, it wasn't an accident. That's what some people. It's not an accident.
And you look at just like how calm we are, how just like easygoing we are with just everything, and, you know, through the chaos and everything. It's just like not everybody could handle this. I mean, how many times a week did people approach us and like, how in the heck are you able to do that?
We still feel like we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah,
you know,
there's no blueprint.
There's things that we have had to figure out and learn and adjust, and know when it's this, we have to times it times 5, or with this time, like we know that because that's our norm now. But it's still not something that you just get used to, because it's ever changing every single day. And just like with your own kids and stuff, like schedule life, things happen and change quickly. And so with us, it's just like it doesn't have to be a day by day. It's like literally 15 times during today. The plan has changed so many times already, you know, but it's a very full life. And I think that one thing that what I've loved, you know, having the kids, I've always kind of said, like, there's something, I still don't know the answer to this, but like, I've always said, like, there's something more to this story, of our story of having these girls and whatnot, than this. I don't know what the story bigger is, but God wants to do something, and he's actively doing something in our life. And I don't know what the other side of this life is for our story, but I would say that I have learned that people and family and community and has a very big value into showing me, like, this is what you need. Like, people need people.
Yeah.
And I've always been a very independent person, and someone who's like, I'm going to do it on my own, or I'm going to do this. And we grew up young and having to figure out a lot for ourselves and whatnot. And growing up and trying to allow people to help you, or to want to do something for you, or allow someone to serve you just because they want to, or just because they love you and want to help you, like, that was just so hard to kind of like accept that. But this process has shown me that, like, in this life, is that, like, God puts people in our lives for a purpose and a reason. And, you know, from being sisters to in-laws to our closest friends here to people being brought in our lives because of the quints. Like, look at Deb, like, she's one of my best friends now. And like, it's all because of the quints, you know? Yeah. And so, like, there's just such a beautiful picture around, like, people, and we're made people to be with people, and community is what that is. And so I feel like this big family and having the Quints and Blayke, like it has brought up a lot of attention, and it's not something that's easy to accept. I would say, like, y'all are way better when like people can come talk to y'all randomly, and like attention, and know, like, y'all can handle, like, that's when I get anxiety, when people want to start talking to me about stuff. I'm like that kind of stuff, and I get bothered by that. But I also love my like side of like me and love language and whatnot, is that like I want quality time, like the qualityness of that. And that's I've been shown that and been taught, like, okay, this is important, and people are important, and to, you know, community. And I like just how we talk about like our family is tight and our family likes to be with our family. Like, not a lot of people know that. Not a lot of people have that. Know that, meaning they don't know that.
Oh, yeah.
Not that they don't know that about us, but like they don't know what that is, and they don't know that family is important. They don't know that
families,
having friends is important, or having a church family. Like, but that is value. There's value in that, you know.
Well, I was told at a young age I was be like the world's best uncle, and that just happened. It happened to happen just because that's why I met you, Danielle.
There you go.
You need to have a dumb uncle around to pick on your kids.
And that's why you're sticking around.
Yeah. I just stay around for Hazel. No, it's funny. But it's funny. Like, I always,
Crystal's going to pull up that video.
I know. I always wanted kids too, because I like playing with kids. But did I want to have a bunch of kids? No.
Yeah.
But being an uncle,
perfect. Even if
being an uncle to a bunch of kids is fun. Because even with their, like, all of our friends' kids, it's the same way. It's just,
same, yeah.
To jack around and like freaking pick on kids. That's my favorite thing to do.
Yeah.
So I was jerked to Crystal. I was jerked to kids. It's just how she fell in love with me.
It wasn't were, like, you still are.
No, I know. I said,
yeah. But now I don't have no filter.
Crystal's gotten bolder, I would say, yeah.
Oh, yeah. She's so tough.
Yeah.
I talk back.
I'm a cool girl.
You're so tough. Yeah. Yeah, no. So like, that's what I tell people too, just because I was like, man, that they weren't chosen to have quintuplets by accident. Like, that was like God, because that ain't for everybody. It's just not. I mean, people could figure it out, but there's so much more that goes into that. And and not like y'all got it and then like, okay, we know exactly how we're going to do this the rest of our life. No, because it's been a challenge. It's difficult
every day.
Yeah. Even with us, I have two kids, like, the challenges just get different as they get older, and the world's crazier, so everything's just amplified. And so we're trying to, you know, luckily we had a boy and a girl, but like I said, you're as a dad, you know, you got that one. I got a girl. I'm like, okay, you got 5, 6 girls. You got to like think about the same stuff a dad does with one girl, you know. So it's crazy to think about that. It's all amplified. That it's just there's no one way to do it.
No.
You just got to figure it out.
No. And there's definitely not a handbook on it. And, you know, it's just one of those things, like our life motto ever since, like, all the kids is just like, we'll figure it out. Like, and that's just like one thing that we say almost on the daily basis is, okay, well, we'll figure it out. Like, this is something new. You know, it's always something new that pops up, and you know, now like the big thing in our life is just like figuring it out, but also like, oh, okay, yeah, divide and conquer. So like we're going in multiple different directions, like every single day it seems like, and you know, whether it's work or doing stuff with the kids, it's just like constantly like just trying to shuffle stuff around. And you know, I mean, you see the theme of this past season on the TV show. It was just like, okay, now we got to be in 3, sometimes even 4 places at once, and
it hasn't been 6 yet. But
and how do we navigate that? And you know, it's just been one of those things where we've never really wanted, you know, somebody else in our home to like help manage it. Like, we wanted to figure out like how we can do this, you know, as a family and stuff. And you just get to a point where like you're stretched so thin that, okay, yeah, we need help. And like we got to start finding, you know, those other pieces. You know,
I know. I wish
put
I
around
would have fired me because I was still living around.
But it's hard to
Quints fired you. Actually,
it's hard to find people to trust. One.
oh yeah,
and they're just so. It's just
There's so much. There's a lot.
It's so much. Hey, so what? I wanted to ask this because people like, what is the chance of having multiples with the process y'all went through with Blayke and the quints?
So what's interesting is that there's a lot of medical like restrictions and whatnot. So like if you're not familiar with like infertility and like how the process of IUI work, you're taking medication. So one thing that I suffered with was I didn't have regular cycles. I had like cyst all the time, like so PCOS, like so I never had like a normal cycle, which makes it very hard to plan. How do we try to plan a family? And because it's all over the place, which is kind of funny because that's our life. It's all over the place. But there's a process of like when you're taking this medication and you're basically doing this to have a 30-day cycle. So like, 14 days, then you'll have a period and blah, blah, blah. When you ovulate, you get to know it based on the medication, helping you have a monthly cycle. And within that, you're building these follicles, and we call these little black dots and stuff like that we were seeing on the ultrasound, and they're measuring those things. And these are going to be likely released and form an egg. So, and I hope I'm saying all these terms right. Maybe I'm not a medical doctor, but I just know what
the black dots were.
The black dots were in the ultrasound. But they're measuring these things, and they're building up, and they're getting bigger. And once they get to a certain size, you're going to take a shot, and it's going to help release the ones that are of size. So what this means is you could have 2 of these follicles that are got big enough to release. You could have 20. But if you have 20, they're going to say you've got too many that are mature enough. That's too likely that the chances of getting pregnant are too high. The chance could be too high. So the number's going
to work against you.
It could work against you. In my scenario with having Blayke, I have never, ever released more than 3 to 4 mature black dots. Okay. Yeah. I've never released, I had always had 3, and via my statistics on how many do I need to release to try to get pregnant, I've already gone 3 to 4 and still not getting pregnant. Okay. So I'm still not getting pregnant with Blayke. This is with Blayke. I'm releasing 3, potentially try to have these 3 to 4 eggs try to mature and meet, and it never happened. And so on the 5th try, nothing was ever different. I think I dropped like 3 from that injection, 3 matured follicles that were like released to have this egg, and they're floating, and here comes the thing. I can have a whole lesson on like a teaching kid lesson right now, but I didn't get pregnant. And so when the 5th time came around and we finally got pregnant with Blayke, I think I dropped like 3, maybe 3 eggs. I would just say that, the black dots eggs, whatever. So when we went to go do the quints years later, we started with the medication I was on when I got pregnant with Blayke, and we did it one time. I had 3 mature spots released, didn't happen, didn't get pregnant the first month. So we did it again the next month. There was nothing different in the story of what my body was trying to create and what I'm releasing. Nothing was different, because if I would have had 5 or more, I would not have been able to do an injection to release. So I still released what I released, the 3 to 4, and this is what happened. Then still came quints. Like, it wasn't a high probability for me to have those all mature. It's actually Adam's fault because he had too much healthy sperm, I guess. I don't know. But in my body, in my physical body, like, I didn't have.
I was saving up for like 2.5 years.
There wasn't. And this is why I say, like, infertility is so. It's so personal because it's case by case, and it's, yes, there's studies and there's stories, and even I beat the odds.
So what is the percent of having multiples, though? Is there like a number, like a statistic out there?
Oh, and especially quints. It's millions. It's like 1 in...
Like 60 or 70 million.
Holy cow.
To have quintuplets, and then to have all-girl quintuplets was like over time.
It's almost like inquantifiable, just because it's only happened... Up until us, it was the 3rd time in recorded world history.
When we had when we had the quints, which were the all-girl quints, the first all-girl quints in America.
Yeah.
This is the third time in world history it's ever happened. This is tell you how rare it is, okay?
Wow.
So it's not common. And so even when you talk like IVF and there's a lot of restrictions ever since Octomom, injected 8 fertilized eggs into her, like with IVF, like there's laws around that. Doctors can't do that.
Set a precedent.
I think they have a hard time even doing 2 this day and age, like to insert 2 fertilized embryos for IVF, because you just don't know, And so that's all out of my, like, I never went the IVF route, but the statistics are super high. And my doctor went back and was like, nothing on paper and nothing in your charts, nothing says this should happen. And I'm like, I know, because God's in control. Even in times when you want to fight that or not believe in that, I still look back and say, like, this is God's story. And here we are trying to figure it out.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was curious. I didn't know. I mean, I knew it was slim. I didn't know it was that big of a.
Yeah.
That's a big.
But there's, I think right now there is a pair of quintuplets that were born about 2 months ago. Usually if they're born in the Houston area, I always get contacted by the hospital or somebody contacting me, and they're doing pretty good right now. But there was ones when I was pregnant with the quints, they passed away, which was super.
Cool.
They were like in the
All of them?
woodlands. Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it was super hard. So that was like really hard to go through, and like being pregnant, being like in one day you could just lose them all. I mean, just. It's weird to think that I went through all that. Like, honestly,
it is crazy. Well, now it's 9 years ago, so it's even crazier to think about.
Yeah.
Like I said, I think it's so normal for our family.
Yeah, just walking life with this.
Well, it's funny because some people can't even count. They're like twins, but there's 5 of them the same age.
Are they all twins?
That's my favorite thing. We used to go out in public, and we'd be like walking past.
When they
people.
were little, it was more.
People,
like,
you'd see people like stop, and they're like.
But being that they're getting older now, it just looks
it could be like
these
friends. But when you had who takes 5 babies all out at one time?
I tell people, I said that's all her from 5 different dads.
Yeah.
And that was the thing. It never slowed us down. And I mean, even to this day, like, I have buddies that are like, dude, like, you took them all to Target by yourself. But I mean, it's just.
They're older now. I mean, they're good.
I tell people, I said, dude, that's the most.
I was doing that whenever they were 2 and 3. It was just.
But I tell people, I said, hey, they're the most well-behaved kids, though. Like, hey, there can be kids. I get it. Any kid can be rambunctious. I said, they're great kids. I said, the thing is, there's so many of them. That's where it throws you off, because there's so many you got to try to corral. But, like.
It's more challenging
also,
now
like,
because their personalities.
People don't necessarily think that because of what they see on the TV show. Because it's like producers and people like egging them on to do stuff on camera, and so it's like
and it's
everywhere they go, it's like chaos.
TV.
Yeah, edited people.
So it's like you caught the one thing out of all day.
Yeah.
We've just been waiting for this to happen.
I mean, if you put a camera on any group of kids, you're going to catch some mischievous stuff.
Oh,
that's
for sure.
That's just what it is. Our kids are 13, 11. You're going to
trying to show up. I mean, you walk by like someone filming a news segment in the back, and people are in the back like, hey, like doing stupid stuff.
Do that.
Like, why do you wish you want to be on the back of a news segment? Like, I can't wait to go to the Today Show and be in the back of the screen when
I would love to.
and Jenna are talking.
Yeah, so that was just it's just crazy. It's crazy to think that it's not even foreign to us anymore because it's been so long.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just I couldn't imagine any other way. That's the thing now. Like, I couldn't imagine like how boring our life would have been. Y'all would have had just another kid. We just had 6 kids between the 3 couples.
Not been boring.
I'm just saying it. How boring. But I'm just saying that it's how much different our life has been from that.
Yeah.
From every aspect of it, I mean, for a freaking TV show. I mean, from everything that we've done, it's been different, and it's just everything is. I mean, we went from having 4 kids in the group to having
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
5 kids in the group.
Of,
5.
Like, how different life would be right now if we were just had one more kid, and I mean, I don't know if we would have stopped then or kept going, but we were trying for one more, and then it would have been 2, 2, and 2, and who knows what had happened then. I mean, we were all kind of,
but then it's
we were
weird
all
because then
working together at the time.
Can't picture that.
Would we still, would things not have spiraled into chaos and stuff, and we'd still all be working together? Like, I mean, you just never know. I mean, like, what life would be like now.
Apparently boring.
Yeah,
I'm just saying it'd be so different.
No, I know.
It's just great. Like I said, it all goes back to just thinking how we met. Never thought one day I'd been uncle to your freaking kids.
Oh, I know. I mean, I would never would have thought the same about Nick either.
Yeah. I mean,
No, real Nick.
Yeah.
Uncle Nick.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley's Nick.
yeah.
Well, it's funny they didn't have multiples because he's a twin, she's a twin. Like,
Yeah.
that's weird to me. Like they didn't pop up with multiples or me.
It's going to be
It usually does skip a generation.
Yeah, but it didn't.
Not in our family, though.
Yeah, because our grandmother had a set of triplets and twins,
and then our mom
yeah.
had the twins. And so I think it's been, if you're not the multiple, so
Well, it didn't skip, and Danielle's the one that had the multiples.
Yeah.
And it just happened.
But I guess it's because you weren't a twin and I was a twin.
yeah, but mom wasn't one of the multiples and I wasn't the multiple.
Yeah.
So it's going to be Blayke is not the multiple. So Blayke will probably have the multiples.
Oh, poor Blayke. She'll be the most prepped
she's
for
born
it.
for it.
Well, me and Ashley.
I mean,
said,
all of our kids say they want like 3 or 4 kids. So I'm like, good for y'all. That's surprising.
that'll change once he gets older.
Well, I mean, but you got to think Blayke,
Not in this economy.
Blayke, Lily, and Mackenzie. Well, even the boys,
They all grow up with-
They
yeah.
helped
They still
kind of
do,
helped raising them. I'm saying
Yeah.
because they were we called them the babies until they're 8 years old. Still, you still say that sometimes.
We
not
just
thinking
now it's
about
like the big kids and little kids.
But like I said, they were a part of that to where they were helpful.
Yeah.
Even now they help just to kind of keep them all corralled to where even downstairs right now. I mean they could keep them entertained.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it's normal to them. It's crazy because it's just not a normal thing. And
I know now they can all just like stay together and like be like the babysitting. It's like you don't even call it babysitting, but
Yeah, watch your kids.
they're old enough to like stay all together and like.
Not
I know
burn a
we
house
did
down.
that like a season or whatever ago on the show or whatever, and it really was weird. That was really weird that first time that they all stayed and us 6 went to dinner.
Yeah, that was your
I
birth-
thought that was really weird.
Yeah.
Like to not have a babysitter and we left the kids at the house.
First.
That was the
Because
first time that we were like,
and the girls
they're
were
old
older.
enough
Yeah.
where they can like all like take care of the kids and like the quints and stuff. But it was fun.
We just went down the road, guys, so we didn't go far.
Yeah, I mean,
there also was a TV crew with them.
Yeah.
I forgot about that.
I'm talking about like when we really like
No, we
not
really-
even just the TV one, like when we did that for the first
I
time.
always threatened them with the amount of cameras in our house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
The nanny cams
I could
everywhere.
literally see in every room of our house.
The cameras are funny
and
'cause-
that keeps our kids honest too, because they know, but they also use that against each other.
Yeah.
and
Because
us.
they'll come in and like,
Yeah.
Dad, I can't find blah blah blah. I think such and such took it.
Can you pull up the cameras?
Pull up the camera?
Where did she hide my iPad? Pull the cameras up.
Pull the cameras, Dad.
I'm like, you actually don't know, but that camera's not on.
That's
It's just for looks, girls.
Yeah.
golly. Yeah, it's just crazy to think of how everything transpired to being where we're at now.
It's funny.
It is. And we're all getting old. Well, Crystal, man.
Adam's older than us.
Yeah, he acts younger than you, so it doesn't matter.
He acts younger than me. I doubt that. You're the one that acts the most like a kid.
Look, the youngest in this room, actually.
Shit, dude.
What are you talking about?
I'm in my prime right now, dude.
Yeah, you say you're in your prime.
Wow.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, I guess he is. Take that back.
what? So, let's go.
I love to hear the thoughts that Crystal has in her head sometimes.
You don't.
I know we
Well, they
talked-
come out.
We talked about this other time. Would you want to know
It's
what's,
like she
what I'm saying?
answered
in my
someone
head?
else.
Yes. That's what I'm saying about her text message. We're like, I don't know the other part of your text because you only texted a part of what was in your head.
Because a lot of times I don't type it out. I'll say it on my phone. And then I don't check it, but I should check it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Apple came predict what you're
I
saying.
know exactly. I'm like, I'm pronouncing the word clearly, and you look back, it's like, what the heck?
So what's the biggest thing you learned from having multiples that you would share to somebody that's like, what do you tell some, like when they say, hey, we got a family have multiples, I'm sure people reach out to you. Mm-hmm. Like, what do you tell them?
Like advice or whatever?
Yeah, like what would you say to
Stay
them?
calm, have patience.
God.
Find a wine you like.
One, it's kind of two things. Is that because there was a set of quintuplets born in like West Texas, and they're just like isolated, like no family, like there's no community, like they don't have anybody there to help them. So that's, to me, is like the challenging part. Like if you're not involved with, find a church family or find some kind of mom's group, or you got to have people around, because there's no way you can sit and do this life, especially when they were home.
Yeah.
There's no way we both, like, you could have worked and I could have stayed home and fed these babies around the clock every 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's like you have to have help. And, whether that was Ashley coming in at 2 a.m. in the morning just to help for that one feeding so he could sleep because he was back at work, having a community of people around you and trying to find that. If you don't, there's moms groups, finds of Facebook groups, local community, like church people are great. But having a routine and a schedule you're going to have that when you step into this life.
That was probably the biggest thing, is like you live and die by your schedule. And like we were militant about routine and schedule, and you just have to be with that many kids and stuff. And like,
if you wanted to
everything
have
has to
some
run
form
like
of a rest,
clockwork.
you had to stick to your schedule so that you could rest, even if it was 20
There's
minutes.
like some people that don't have twins, and like they do everything opposite. Like, if one was still sleeping, one was up. But you learned you had to get them all up at the same time, even if one of them was sleeping.
Well, and plus they were in the NICU for 3 months, so they were already on a schedule. And so that helped too when they came home. We stuck with that schedule.
Yeah.
And there was times where because it was 3 would get fed and then 2, and we would do that. But then it just we had to hand feed all of them because they were acid reflux. So you couldn't prop feed them until they were like 9 months old or something. They had to get past that reflux stage where they're all getting all these medicines and stuff to eat that was so just going through that, like you have to form some type of routine and schedule to keep up with all that. Like
how many were home when y'all were home versus when they were at the NICU?
Oh, they each went.
So I told him not to take like that time off from work until we had 4 or 5 home, because I felt like
4 or 5
when I would go,
all of them.
I know that
until we had 4, at least 4 home, because when I would go to
Nothing gets past you.
when we go in the NICU, I could get in there and I could,
Jet five.
when I would go there for the day, I'd bring Blayke to school or drop her off at her daycare or whatever, and I'd go up to the NICU and I could get 3 fed. I could do that. So that seemed to be, to him, I'd say, I don't want you to take time off until we have 4, or when 4 or 5 are home. And so Parker came home first on like a Thursday, and then like by that next Monday, Hazel came home. Or no, it was like a Monday, then Thursday, because I remember we had one weekend and they were telling us that Olivia or Riley are going to be able to come home. Let's wait through the weekend. And then that day came and they both are ready to come home. So we took both of them home together. So then it was 4. And then Ava was that stayed another like month.
Yeah.
Yeah, how tough was that?
That was probably the hardest. Because, you had, even 4 babies at home.
You still have to find
how
time to go
hard
see
that
her.
is, having 4 babies at home, but also one of them's at the hospital.
45 minutes away.
That you want to see every day. Because, like, honestly, whenever they were in the NICU, like, we never missed a day. And, like, it was either her or me or both of us every single day. Because, like, she would bring Blayke to daycare. I would be at work. She would bring Blayke to daycare, and she'd go straight up to the hospital, and she would spend the entire day at the hospital.
Until I would leave to get Blayke from
And then
school.
she would leave to go get Blayke, and I would kind of make my routes, sales routes and stuff like that in Houston, to where like I was kind of remotely like ready to where I could be like heading that direction. And we pretty much give each other a high five in the parking garage. And I would stay through late that evening, and while she would go home and like spend the afternoon with Blayke, and then I mean, that was like every day. That was our routine.
What was hard was when they start to come home, they're not allowed to go back to the NICU. So once they're home,
bring them back to the hospital.
you now had to have someone come take care of your baby and that just came back from the NICU that's at home that you don't even know what to do, like how to. So that was hard because like who do you trust? Who do you trust to take care of the NICU babies at your house when you're trying to figure it out yourself?
Yeah.
But that was probably the hardest because Ava was already kind of set apart in a way because she was once she had an infection. And so once you were in isolation until you went home, no matter if
Ava was like in solitary confinement.
I remember that. She was in that separate room.
She had her separate room. And, so you always had to see her last. And there was times where I couldn't go see her because I had to leave to go home and get Blayke. And so I would tell him, go
spend extra time with Ava.
Make sure you say hi to the girls, do whatever. And with me, my time with them was a little bit different because like, you know, I was pumping and I'm breastfeeding and I would do what I could there. And if he could feed, it was definitely with a bottle or something. But I'd say, do what you can, but make sure to spend more time with Ava.
Yeah.
Or, hey, just see Ava today. She needs all the time today because I got to do so much today with the other. And so it just was all about schedule and time because we also still had Blayke and you had to get her from school. And so it had to be a routine and you try your best.
On the weekends, we would bring Blayke up to the NICU with us and then she would get to go around and that was also always like a super special time.
Yeah, they would have certain times where like family, which y'all know too, like when y'all would visit and stuff, like we all could go at a certain time frame and like see like visiting hours and whatnot. And I think when they were in NICU 2, it was a lot easier than NICU 3 because that was just like the first one that they were in that was like super strict. But
I remember that. Like I said, I remember it was funny. We found out later on. Remember, I was like only time I went there was that one day. And the only one I held was Hazel, I think. And that was it. The only one I had a picture with in NICU. And it's crazy how you think about that versus the bond.
Yeah.
Like,
and
it's
and
weird
honestly,
how that all
bond.
works.
It seems to be everybody has a special bond. Like Crystal, Ashley, every parent, like everyone has like an extra special bond with one of the quints. And we tracked it back to that's the first quint you got to hold and touch.
Yeah.
And like that was your experience of like holding a NICU baby because none of us had NICU babies. And so just, you know, they were 2 pounds. They were so small and just like, I mean, at the time that y'all probably got to hold them, they're probably closer to like 4 pounds, but still that's super small.
Yeah. It's just weird how you track that back. Cause like you said that later on, like you told me, cause I didn't know that at first. You'd be like, oh man, she was the only one that I actually held.
Yeah.
It's just weird how that works like that.
It
like
is.
that little bit of interaction made a difference.
Yeah.
It's just crazy to think. Cause it was, like, even for y'all, even now, it was like, I'm sure people ask or wondering, like, how do you give enough each kid individual time to try to.
Yeah. I mean,
you know,
it's kind of like what we did today. It was like this divide and conquer just to have less around so that the attention is a little bit more valuable. You know, 3 on 1 versus 6 on 2, like 2 on 6, you know, it's just different. So we try our best, like, to take advantage of the small things, which I think people would kind of see this as more as like spoiling your children, and that's probably part of it too. But part of it is that I want to do something like extra special when I have 1 or 2 or 3 when it's not just all of us, because like today, like going and getting the girls they just wanted to get their nail polish off and repaint it. They didn't want shellac or whatever, like something that's a little bit more expensive. But I was like, you know what, like let's do that and let's get a design today, like something that's like just extra special, so I can be like, oh man, I got to do this today. I got shellac today with mommy, and I got this. Like we try to take small moments and make it extra special when it's less.
Whenever it's that many, it's like, you know,
it's overwhelming. And
if at all possible, if you can do it, like, okay, like, you know, there's some times where like I'm headed off to like the Good Rancher's office and I can't just bring a kid with me, but like if you're capable of it, every time you leave the house, if you're just like running down to the grocery store or whatever, going on an errand, never go alone. like always have a kid with you.
And in
it's just,
most cases, parents are like, I don't want to take the kids.
Yeah.
But to our kids, they always grew up going like, I want to go to HEB because they didn't get to do
they
it
get
like
a long time too. Yeah.
Well, now the kids are at the age to stay home, so it'll happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I gotta I'm like, Kenzie goes HEB with me. I don't want to. I'll buy you some. All right, let's go.
Yeah. I mean, they used to because you.
And then they're going to start driving and be like, "Do you need me to go to HEB?"
Yeah, exactly.
I know.
Yeah.
And you'd be like, "I'll."
But like, so that's. I mean, that's probably tough for people even with 2 or 3 kids to spend that a long time. Sometimes I can imagine when you got 6 that are, especially all girls. So I mean, they do all have their own personalities, which is fun to see them growing up, how different they are. I mean, they're.
Whenever there are that many of them, and you just have to find those moments that you can do that. And then, so if it's just little mundane outings or whatever, just take them with you. And, it means the world to them.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It's crazy.
Couldn't imagine. I couldn't imagine.
That's how we love when they come spend the night with y'all. All of them.
They're good. I mean, like you said.
I know, but it's just funny because you get a different perspective, like when you have all of them for like a period of time versus like when we're just hanging out.
Yeah.
Like when they come spend the night with y'all, or like Ashley and Nick, or like when they all go somewhere, it's like it's so weird for us because it's like even like when they come, they spent the night here one night, all of them. It's like it's just us in the house. Like that's weird.
Quiet, yeah.
But to y'all, it's like. You think about like bath time or like I do hair.
I know, I still want to bathe. I still
like,
think I'm a little when you said I bathe them.
I know they say Kiki washed my hair, and I was like, why?
They're still little.
We don't wash her hair.
I said, Parker, why is your hair all greasy? Did you put too much conditioner? She goes, no, Kiki did that.
No, I put that oil stuff to.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah,
they came home with some oily heads.
It's stuff. You're supposed to rinse
what
it
the
out.
heck
You're
is
supposed
in
to
your
wash
hair?
it off. You're supposed to wash it out the next day, but it's stuff. It's to help bond. They needed that with that dry from swimming.
Oh yeah, I know that, like a mask.
Yes,
but this was. I was like,
I didn't wash
your
it.
hair is gross.
I didn't wash it the next day. Yeah. Because they were like, I don't know when's the last time we washed your hair. I was like, no, baby, we're washing today. And then I'm putting some stuff in your hair.
They also don't know what they ate for dinner.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Like,
no, but I did that stuff, and we were supposed to wash it the next day. We were supposed to wash it. I mean, we were supposed to rinse it off the next day. We didn't.
Yeah. Riley was telling me Kiki put too much conditioner in Parker's hair.
I did both of theirs.
Yeah,
because you had to massage it and stuff.
Greasy heads.
It is fun having a couple at a time because, like,
I love separating them and like letting some go here and there. The others get really sad, and then they think that they need to be like, well, then tomorrow it's my turn. And I'm like, well, it doesn't work like that. It's whenever they say or whatever.
do you ever think about how far ahead do y'all ever think about the kids, like, far as with their like high school on? You ever think about stuff for them, like far as what they're going to be into or what they're going to. I mean, you get drinks for your kids.
Is I do think about that at times, like when I hear stories of like teenagers or whatever, and I think about it in the quint, like when they're that age, how it will be. But I also think it's going to be different in our scenario because we still have a day today where it's like the quints, as much as they want to do things separate or different, they can't do something without each other. Like, it's weird.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they'll come over here, but I guarantee you, besides Riley, if you, like, Ava want to spend the night, she's going to say, who else is going to spend the night with me?
Yeah.
Like, they're not used to not having a sister with them because it's all the time. It's in their classroom, you know? And so when I hear situations, I'm like, I wonder if it'll be like that in that form of a teenager story or a drama or whatever because of all these all the sisters, you know? Like, it was different. Like, I mean, you and Ashley, like, y'all were twins. And like,
we were close, but we still had our separate friends group.
Right.
You know? I guess it's because Mom always put us in separate classes from kindergarten on. So even though we were attached, but we weren't that attached to, you know.
Yeah. But like, even with like the quints, like, I just think it's, I mean, do you agree? Like, they have a different bond because they're quints, and it's not, it's higher than just the twins, you know, because if it's not just me and you, it's me and you. Or, okay, well, I don't want to do that. Would you say I got her an option, her an option, her an option, her an option, Because they all divide up and they play. Today, she's going to be good with Hazel. Today, she's going to be good with Riley. And then tomorrow, they're going to fight all day, those two. And then they change.
Yeah.
Just like we'd say that when friends come over. When friends come over, we usually have really good playtime with friends because that friend, it's like a party for them because she'll play good. And when she kind of gets annoyed or they might want to be bicker, she just goes plays with a different sister. Or then they'll go do this. And like she just gets to rotate.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah, it's normal to them.
It's normal to them, yeah.
Like I think you said the other day, it's like they don't understand that this isn't normal for them to have all these sisters.
They were playing with Reese the other day, and I mean, they all kind of have like their own best friend, but this whole friend group, they're all friends.
Yeah.
But Parker's got her own best friend, Olivia's got her own best friend, and Olivia comes up to me, she's like, Mom, how dare... I don't remember what sister said that. That's not her best friend. That's just so mean. I was like, it doesn't have to be her best friend. Like,
well, this is girl drama too.
And I'm just like, it's okay. Like, she's your best friend, but she's her friend. But she probably plays more and more with this one,
Yeah.
It's just funny.
Yeah, it's weird. I couldn't imagine. I don't want to imagine. I'm good over here. Go see them. They come to my house. Yeah, I don't have much else.
Yeah.
We can talk about Grason Bee real quick.
Yeah. What's up?
You said you got something new in the works. I don't know if you're going to spill the beans or not.
Oh, when did I say that?
I've seen it.
Oh, yeah. It's too new to talk about.
Okay. So
no, I mean...
But that's been a challenge, too, I'm sure, just
on
the business.
Yeah, the storefront's definitely been a challenge just with, it's not just an online store anymore and having, to physically be there and not just control everything kind of like, virtually and whatnot. And the desire and the want to be there too is another thing too. So it's like having another kid and having to have time there and having to divide that time and provide your own time there and love it too and like things like that. And but it brings a lot of joy for myself.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like the last 2 years of Grason Bee, it's just been like this crazy learning curve because, we had, Grason Bee online only for years. And then whenever we decided to open the storefront, we realized that, the demographic that we had on the website, online presence, was almost polar opposite of
what's in store.
Local community,
of our area. And so then it was like, oh well, you kind of open the store thinking like this is the stuff that we sell, and then it's just been like this trial and error and learning curve of like, okay, what works online versus what works in the store. And it's almost like you have
two stores.
It's almost like you have two completely different stores you're having to maintain and figure out, and obviously things change, and and so it's like having two completely different stores. And so it's just been...
Well, that and its fashion changes so much, too. Yeah. So that's probably just another element that...
Yeah.
Yeah, and I have a brand, and I don't necessarily want to adjust. I want to stick to the brand, and so I have to be more particular about, like what's coming into the store, because if it doesn't fit the brand, then I don't want it, Yeah. You're not going to see certain things just because it's trendy in a sense, but would that sell good? Yeah, but that's not really what I want the store to be. So that's challenge too. Keeping up with the fashion, but keeping up the brand and keeping up the market and the customers. And, it's been a huge learning curve, but, it's something I thought, because I'm a worker and a doer, that I needed something to do and I need to stay busy, because that's just me. The goal was always, when the quints got to kindergarten, that we would push for a storefront. And then that was COVID. And so it didn't happen until a year or so after that. And yeah, I mean, we just celebrated its to be second birthday, and it's grown a lot since the day we opened the doors at that place.
Yeah. So one thing I haven't asked, before Crystal asked her thing at the end, I want to ask, so how has y'all's marriage changed over the years from having Blayke, well, getting married, having Blayke, the quints? Like, some people, like, there's a lot of stresses that puts on marriages.
Yeah.
Just like parents that have mentally challenged kids, how much that stress puts on a marriage. And you have multiple kids that have, everything's a lot tougher. So, like, how has that changed you guys? I mean, you guys have always been solid. So, like, I'm sure, it's like any marriage, you got the ups and downs.
Yeah. Like,
how much has the dynamic changed from the beginning to now? Like,
well, I think any parents can relate to the fact that it's not about you anymore.
Yeah.
It's not about just us. It's like we are raising children and we love our children. But there's a lot more factors in between like the day to day that we have to take care of that, could possibly come in between like what we want to do. Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So you have to set yourself aside a lot, and, things do come before you. And I would say, the struggles, I would say the most challenging times in our marriage were definitely, going through infertility and not knowing what that was, and then how to overcome that within a marriage. And then obviously walking through a high risk pregnancy to then the NICU, which was probably the most traumatic, I would say, phase of life, and in all aspects. And, bringing kids home and having 6 kids home to, income to then, now being this public famous family and having a TV show, and like all these things are just factors that are just like throwing into you that are going to cause a lot of stress. But I would say from the very beginning, our foundation has always been a covenant under God. And no matter what, we have a covenant that says we will fight to stick through whatever's going to come our way, even when we don't want to. And that's not just a piece of paper or, a signature we put on something to say like our marriage license and whatnot. Yes, that's real. But what's real to me and what's real in my heart is God is right here. He's like right here. And I can't seem to ever have a desire to break the love that God has had for us and that I have for him. And so having that has always grounded us, even in the biggest of fights, and so, because there's a conviction there's like this something else that pulls me and just says, even if you don't want to be doing this or don't want to be here, and this is a tough phase and you're in the pits, but God, and that's where it's always, we're pulled out of it. And
no matter like whatever struggle, I mean, honestly, like we've gone through like major like hurdles and obstacles and struggles in our lives, like where, back whenever, I mean, and you've kind of seen a little bit like small glimpses of certain things that were highlighted across a TV show. And, even, through, my probably darkest time of, going through, depression and anxiety and stuff like that. And just like how much that took a toll, like on our relationship personally, just because like I was just numb. And, but no matter like what struggle we're going through, no matter what hurdle, whatever obstacle we're in, like our God is like so much bigger than that. And, the promise that we've made to each other, but also the promise that we made to God and our family, it'll never be broken. And that's just something that, through all the struggles, through all the craziness, through, whatever you see on TV. I mean, most of the fighting and bickering and stuff that you see on TV is just complete made up, just drama that's just not, it's a lot of it's just taken out of context. And
it's made for TV.
It's made for TV. I mean, they definitely amp up the drama for certain things. And, it's just, it's one of those things where, like, our relationship has never like wavered through that. Like, we're always going to fight, and we're always and not fight each other. We're going to fight for each other and fight for our marriage and fight for our family.
And I say that about every marriage of people that we love and that are in our like circle and bubble, is that like, no matter what your marriage is going through, like I want to pray, I want to fight for your marriage because God created us for marriage, and like this is man and woman, like this is what He wants. And so, we have to read our own words and believe them ourselves that we preach to other people and stuff, and we do. And it doesn't mean it's easy all the time, but we know that it's not going to get broken. And you're constantly faced, just like as kids get older and you get faced with all challenges and like schedule, and just even y'all, it's like family of 4, like your schedules change every season with school and sports, and how do you have to adjust? Can you have to go to CrossFit at a different time? Like, how hard would that be for you? Like, I mean, there's real things here. But it's the same thing in marriage. Marriages are still challenging, and they're not easy, and you have to work on them, and you have to constantly be attentive to, how do I make this better? And you should always want better. And it doesn't mean it has to be without the person. It doesn't mean it has to be like, I need, I. It's not about you and you got to put the other person first. Doesn't mean it's easy. It's hard. It's hard.
And through
if you've seen the episodes, you know that we are two complete opposite people, two complete opposite communication styles, love languages, and all. We are the two people that are so hard together.
That's one thing. It's like we understand about each other and our relationship and stuff, and like we've worked to build a community around us that, not only are we fighting for each other,
they help fight for us.
They
too.
fight for us.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest key, because we've been through some tough times, and we've had people in our corner that have stuck by us and would not let us like leave a room, and made us like work through certain things that we were struggling with or whatever's going on at the time, and sat there and did battle for us, at times. And
we got to have that.
We came out on the other side, and, it's just like, we've always been grounded and made a priority to be grounded with community that will fight for us and will do the same for them. And, and I think that's what just keeps us so grounded. And, so that, even, with TV and fame and stuff like that. Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of junk and garbage that comes along with that, and that pulls you in like crazy directions and stuff. But, the people that we built around us, like, keep us grounded to the point where, like, whenever we're with those people, like, we don't talk about TV. We don't talk about all that kind of stuff. Like, that's the last thing that we want to talk about. And, and that keeps us grounded so that we, can focus on each other and our relationship. And so that's been like, no matter what craziness and ups and downs is going on in our life, that's always been a constant. And if that's always the constant, if God's in the center, and we have this core group of people around us that are standing with us and fighting with us, like, not a lot changes, and so, that's the key.
Cheers.
You're up, Kiki.
All right, one last question.
Oh, Jules.
We asked this to everybody that's on. What is y'all's number one marriage advice?
I think we just gave it.
You can't say communication because everybody says communication. So,
I mean,
it was something to add to that, to what y'all said.
I mean, my number one advice for marriage is, have a solid foundation and Christ-centered, because that is what's going to bond you and keep you together. when it's not about you, it's not about him, it's about God. And what does God say? How does God love? How to show love? And, there's times where, I don't like Adam. He gets on my nerves, or like, but God, I have to see Adam the way that God sees Adam. And I forget that at times, but I have conviction, and I have prayer, and I have people in my life and my circle that will, bounce you right back in and tell you the truth and speak life into you. And that's beautiful. And I can say marriages fall apart quickly, especially in the challenges and the things that they have faced, that people say, how are y'all still together with all that you've gone through? And it's like, because as selfish as I might be, it's not about me, and you have to accept that and know that, like, don't let yourself feel defeated, because there's always better on the other side. And you have to push forward, and you got to fight. And, and
I think, like, one of the biggest takeaways is like in our home, outside of our relationship with God, like, the most important relationship in our house is us. Like, Danielle is the priority in the house above all the kids, like, above everything. Like, got it. Okay. So above, it was because you were cuddling with me a while ago on the couch.
Oh. You mean you were cuddling with me?
Actually,
you were cuddling with me.
Yuck.
It's Tiger all over you. It's Tiger's hair.
It's Tiger. That was Tiger, yeah.
But out of every relationship in the house, like, the one key relationship is us. And
you have to date your spouse. Just because you got married doesn't mean you got to stop dating.
And so just to constantly work on that relationship and constantly keep that relationship, mom and dad, husband and wife, that priority over everything, and everything has to take a back seat to that.
Yeah.
And so, whether it's, the kids can't do this one activity, or the kids can't do this or whatever, because it's like, nope, like, mom's a priority. Like, we got to go do this, and we got to work on this. And, whether it looks, to other people, like, how could y'all do that? How could y'all, like, leave your
Tell
kids,
your kids no.
or leave your kids, and go off and, like, go for the weekend or whatever here.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's because this is the most important relationship in the house. And if this relationship is not good, then
it'll affect everything.
Everything else is going to spiral out of control. And so that is what keeps our kids secure. And that's what makes them feel loved and secure, is knowing that mom and dad are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Yeah, it was good.
All right.
What's your marriage advice that you give to people?
We don't give them advice. That's why we ask y'all.
No one's ever asked you back?
We said on, like, the first, like, one of the first, like, first couple we had on, we talked about that.
Yeah, I don't remember what
what?
you said.
She what? Oh.
What? I get it.
I didn't hear it.
Magnus is still drunk over there with that. But yeah,
Let's get hot in
I'm
here.
surprised Crystal hasn't said that.
I know. I get it.
I didn't hear it, but
I
listen
get
back.
it now. I know what y'all said. You're talking about a healthy sex life. That's what you
That's
talked
part of it.
about. But we don't want to hear about the sex life.
Oh, just give her margarita. She'll tell
Yeah, I know.
everything.
Believe me, I know.
Yeah, y'all have heard enough over the years. But no, hey, this has been fun. We thank y'all for coming on.
Yeah, and the kids have come through the window a couple
Really?
times.
I haven't seen
I
them.
know it's late.
So we're good. We'll wrap this up. That was
Thanks for
fun.
coming.
Yeah. Thanks for having us in the hot box.
It is. I know.
kidding.
It's hot in here. I don't know why. I gotta figure
It's the
something out.
Well, y'all probably don't come up here too often anyways
Yeah.
upstairs.
It's just with all the lights on and stuff. It just
Yeah.
makes it warmer because
We know those TV lights get hot.
Yeah.
Yep. So let's wrap on episode 22, Danielle's placenta.
And if you will not give a picture of that, I'm just saying, and you will not find the picture of that. There's no way you have a picture
It's
of
not
that.
on his
That was
phone
like-
anymore.
I think that was before iPhone, so I don't have it
Good.
in iCloud.
There will be
I don't
no.
think I do.
There will be no.
Yeah, I was on my Sanyo flip phone or something. Probably.
Nokia.
Blackberry.
Those Sprint days.
Yeah, it probably was a BlackBerry somewhere.
Oh, he found one. That's pretty gross
That's
right there.
Magnus's placenta.
Yeah, that's his personal one.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
It was good.
Oh my gosh.
Still chews on that.
Yeah.
Made some jerky out of it.
That's funny. Yep. All right.
All right.
Well,
Thanks for having us on.
that is it.
Was that enough banter?
Peace. Yep.
Bye.
Bye.